This podcast is sponsored by the online course, Intro to Psychology, with Dr. Bo Bennett, PhD. Uncover the secrets of the human mind and transform your life at introtopsych.com. Start your journey today.
Psychology of Language and Communication, Understanding the Mind Behind Words. Explore the psychology of language and communication and learn how words shape thought, identity, and connection in everyday life. The Psychology of Language and Communication, Why Words Matter More Than You Think. So, you ever stop and think about why we use language the way we do? I mean, language is something most of us just take for granted. It's how we chat with friends, debate on social media, or even negotiate at work. But underneath all that chatter is a fascinating interplay of psychology and communication. As a psychology professor, I can tell you the way we use language actually reveals a lot about how our minds work, how we connect with others, and even how we think. Let's kick this off by understanding that language isn't just a tool for exchanging information, it's deeply tied to our psychology. When you hear someone's tone, choice of words, or even their silence, it's like reading their mental state and emotional cues. This is where some amazing psychological concepts come into play, like how our brains process language and the theories that explain how communication shapes our reality. First off, there's this idea from Intro to Psychology, a basic but super important concept, that language shapes thought. It's called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, and it suggests that the language you speak can influence how you perceive the world. Some languages have multiple words for snow, others might have no future tense. These differences might actually nudge your brain into thinking differently about time or environment. It's wild when you think about it because it implies just how powerful language really is. So when you're trying to communicate effectively, you're also tailoring a mental experience for the other person. Another cool aspect is how language taps into memory and cognition. Psychological research shows our brains are wired to detect patterns in words and grammar, and we use these patterns to make sense of new information. Ever notice how certain words just stick with you? Or how a story told in a specific way can make you remember it better? That's because our brains are naturally drawn to meaningful and organized language structures. So it's not just what you say, but how you say it that impacts communication. Now, let's talk about nonverbal cues. When you're talking face-to-face, most of your communication isn't even about the word. It's about body language, intonation, pauses, and facial expressions. Psychologists who study communication emphasize that these nonverbal signals often speak louder than the words themselves. Think about it. Someone says, "I'm fine," but their crossed arms and frown say otherwise. This contrast between verbal and nonverbal communication can reveal hidden emotions or intentions. And here's a fun part. Language also shapes our social identity and group dynamics. How we speak can signal where we're from, our age, social class, or even how we feel about a particular group of people. This is a major psychology topic because it shows how language influences not just individual connection, but group belonging and even prejudice. For instance, slang or jargon creates a sense of insider status among peers, while technical language might alienate outsiders. One of the core psychology theories you come across in any Intro to Psychology or Psychology 101 course concerns the relationship between language and brain function. Areas like Broca's and Wernicke's in your brain are specialized to process language production and comprehension. Damage to these areas can cause significant difficulties in communication, which highlights just how intertwined language and cognition really are. But it's not always about formal language. Informal, everyday communication teaches us a ton too. Humor, sarcasm, or metaphor require us to go beyond literal meanings and understand context, tone, and social rules. These aspects of communication are studied extensively in psychology education to show how flexible and creative human communication can be. Here's a little real-world application for you. When you're trying to persuade someone or change their behavior, understanding the psychological concepts behind language is a game changer. Whether it's marketing, counseling, or just convincing your teenager to clean their room, the way you phrase things matters. Psychology education teaches us that effective communication often involves empathy, tuning in to how others feel and adjusting your message accordingly. If you're intrigued by these ideas and want to learn more about how psychology explains human communication and behavior in general, I highly recommend checking out the Intro to Psychology course by Dr. Bo Bennett on the Vervestiti.com platform. It's an excellent resource that covers a broad range of psychology topics and theories with approachable explanations. Whether you're just starting out or want to refresh your knowledge in Psychology 101, this course breaks down complex ideas into something that's easy to understand and genuinely enjoyable. Here's why enrollment could be perfect for you. You get a comprehensive intro to psychology that covers everything from brain function to social behavior. It's designed to help you grasp psychological concepts that apply to everyday life, including communication strategies. The course is self-paced and available online, meaning you can learn whenever and wherever you want. Most importantly, it offers practical insights into human behavior, giving you tools to improve your own communication and relationships. If you're curious about why people say what they say, how language affects thinking, or just want to brush up on those psychology theories you heard about in college, this course is definitely worth a look. Enroll now to understand human behavior and see how the psychology of language fits into the bigger picture of unlocking how we relate to each other. To wrap it up, language isn't just a simple exchange of words, it's a complex psychological dance. By understanding the psychology behind language, we get closer to understanding ourselves and others. So next time you have a conversation, remember, there's a lot more going on than just words flying back and forth. Stay curious, keep questioning why we communicate the way we do, and maybe even play around with your own language to see how it changes your mindset or conversations. Trust me, your brain will thank you for it.